we are back with some great Ace Attorney. I've been wanting to play this game for a few days, but I kind of got caught up in doing stuff with friends. But that should be fine, honestly. We are in the middle of a trial, and I guess we'll see what happens next. We're gonna try and convince the jury to be on our side. Let me just get comfy, as per usual. There we go. Okay. Got my controller. Game's taking a while to load. Okay, there we go. We got the jurors' contentions. And, I love when my frickin' PS4 controller just randomly turns off. Okay, so this is brand new. We gotta, talk with the jury. There is no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him.
I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap next to him, just like this. Brazen, I say. Absolutely brazen. I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far, and drawn the logical conclusion.
You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years.
The scoundrel, stabbing that poor man on the floor? It beggars belief.
So we get to talk to each of the jury members, I guess. I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now.
Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they?
Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them, and use some very persuasive language.
Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works.
Oh? So I was gonna have to thaw their icy mouths to some heartwarming retort about the defendant.
Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant's guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says.
But then...
They reach their conclusion by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become.
Then what on earth am I supposed to do?
Oh dear. I'm just saying what I've read about in the British law, Mr. Naruhodo.
Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work, then?
Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments.
Controller, please. Stop turning off. I just want to play. What do you mean?
Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together.
Which means maybe they're biased, I don't know. And that's the way to break them down, you mean?
Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can then contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other.
I see. So it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to regular cross-examination.
Oh, yes, I suppose you're right.
Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright, I might be able to pull this off. Oh, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Can we stop proceeding, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, he's actually standing in front of them. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time. I mean, technically not true, because there was, the driver, right? He has an excellent memory for passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. Wait a minute, that's not right. Because some guy said it was 4 pence per person, which would actually mean 16. Well, why don't we press them all first?
Hold it!
Certainly, the testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilded were alone inside the carriage. Precisely my point. But could there be some other explanation, something we haven't considered yet? Such as? Perhaps there's something we could, all work out together now. Now listen here, maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes. But we're here to form our opinions and as individuals, and I have.
Oh dear, he doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternate point of view, does he?
No, I'm gonna have to pit the jurors against one another, like Susato-san said. Finding contradictions in these 6 people's assertions is the only way I'm going to succeed. So how do I do that? How do I, like, pit them against each other? I think I know what I'm gonna do, though, in a bit. I'm just gonna press everything, because fun dialogue.
Hold it!
But does his ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is?
I manage all his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts.
I see.
A single penny can mean the difference between life and death, after all, can't it?
That's a saying in your country.
My point is, a man who minds his figures is a man you can trust. Those of us in service would swear to that, sir.
Does that bench really need any more polishing?
So if the good driver says that he saw Mr. McGilded in the act, I don't doubt him. The only task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish.
Now wait a minute. One of their jurors mentioned something about money, I think.
Now would be a very good time to listen carefully to the jurors again, Mr. Naruhodo. If you notice an inconsistency in what 2 jurors are saying,
I should expose it by pitting them against each other. Well, I already know what to do. I just want to press because, you know, the dialogue's fun.
Hold it!
Careful, you could hurt somebody with that.
You're a fine one to talk. What of the sword hanging from your waist,
No, that's just my battered soul.
Well, anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all just the same. All stabbing some brickmaker. All the behind the scenes, you mark my words. Objection.
That seems very unlikely, doesn't it?
Are you mad, man? We know that small shorty's a rotten Shylock.
Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but...
Mr. Naruhodo, please, be careful what you say. If he's been trying to squeeze money out of us less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned, he's as guilty as sin. The man can hang.
His fucking knife got stuck in the thing of it. Didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhand activities?
If you thought of something, Mr. Naruhodo, don't let it go. Test your theory.
Pit the 2 jurors whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. No time like the present to use to pit them against each other, or I'll never get anywhere. Pit. Damn, I didn't know Kid Icarus was in this game. Australians.
Hold it!
What have you been doing all this time?
Anything you're doing all this time? There.
I should have thought it was obvious. I'm recording everything that takes place as part of these proceedings. Yeah, she's like, one of those... fuck, I forgot the name. These people usually are at court, though. It's like a telegrapher or something? A transcriptor. Yeah, something like that. I'm recording everything that takes place as part of these proceedings. And what have you learned from that? For example, at this moment in time, the judge has used his gavel 11 times in total. The prosecution has snorted derisively at your remarks 7 times in total. And I might add, each time you've gulped like a simpleton. Thank you. And what's the point exactly? So anyway, madam, are you able to explain why you think the defendant's guilty? That is a conclusion I've drawn as a result of copious notes I've typed. Clearly, but I'm asking you to explain why you've drawn to that conclusion. Please don't distract me. It makes it extremely hard to concentrate on my note-keeping. This is going nowhere. Well, let me just double check what she said. Okay, well, so that doesn't really mean anything. So this guy says 4 pence. Hold it! I'm gonna hold it. That's how much it costs to take the omnibus? That's right. As the guildmaster, I decide to set a policy for all drivers across the city. 1 fare, no matter which bus you take or how far you're going. We have to compete with the rise of the motor car, you see. Us coachmen have to make a stand together. Motor cars, you say? Yes, and this murder on one of our buses is extremely damaging to our cause. It's beyond the pale. It'll lead to a decline in passengers, you mark my words. And it's all that rascal's fault. He has to pay. I think crime or his buses he's more worried about. Anyway, every member of my guild is reliable and trustworthy. So if the driver says he saw him do it, that fellow in the dock is as guilty as sin. And they love using the word sin, don't they? That scoundrel! Stabbing the poor man on the floor. Hold it! I really think you should stop waving that needle around. You heard what the good coachman said before, didn't you? The hideous man stabbed the poor fellow, just like this. Yes, that's what he said, you're right. The Gilded Park is such a lovely little place, too. I've always enjoyed resting my legs there while I get on with my knitting. And I thought that anyone who donated such a delightful place must be a fine fellow indeed. I suppose I was wrong. Whoever would have thought he was a miserable, murdering moneylender with not a scrap of remorse? Help. She's as sure as she can be, although that guilty now. That old lady seems to certainly know her mind, doesn't she? Wait, So we just need to find 2 jurors with contradictory statements and pit them against each other. Which is much easier said than done. Is that perhaps what you're just thinking? How did you know? It's like Psycho Mantis. I can read you like an open book. Well, I took the liberty of doing some research in case you happen to find yourself in such a situation. Shall I read you what I found out? It's a little long, I'm afraid. Sure, why not? Very well. Listen to this. Oh, kinda stuttered for a bit there. During the summation examination, you'll hear the assertions of the 6 members of the jury. In this situation, the counsel for the defense should use and pit with impunity. Having done so, you'll be able to compare the chosen assertion with those of the other jurors. Select the corresponding buttons to listen to the other jurors' assertions again. Okay, that's actually pretty helpful. Note that you cannot choose the assertion of the jury you've initially selected. Nor can you choose assertions of jurors who've changed their leaning to not guilty already. Once you've compared the various jurors' assertions, work out which 2 contradict each other, and then pit them together with Ant to pull them apart. I see. She wasn't joking when she said it was long. The first step is to listen very carefully to what each individual juror has to say. Then I'm sure you'll start to see which ones might not quite agree with each other. Alright then. Let's get this right now, so I never have to listen to that long, boring explanation ever again.
That's the spirit.
He just called her explanation boring. Well, already I know which one stands out to me. It's this one. With, this one. 4 pence. Yeah. This one bothers me.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel.
Me? Oh dear, what have I said?
I swear on Silver Blaze's name and maiden name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far... Oh hey, it's the title screen theme. I think this is Rionowski's objection theme. But it's kind of funny they use it on the title screen. There were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beepo, he took 20 pence in fares.
Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
Juror number 5 told us the following. Fare of the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is, a very inconvenient single price. Just the way London's carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication.
Ah, it would be 16 pence.
Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare. 1 person's fare? Yes. In other words, on the omnibus last night... Also, I noticed he's doing, Cosmo's, desk slam. That's a cool detail. It's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Good gracious. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon? Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus. Oh. Alright then. How do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end, hmm?
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of the set of scales.
Now hold your horse there, coachman. We are all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, people. Alright, that's nice. We got 1 person on innocent now. Oh, this is all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir, I'm going to do the same.
Nice. Alright, that makes 2 now. For the love of Mike, not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all.
Yeah, quite literally this time.
I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow the exacting standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo, you did it! If you can manage to change 2 or more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue.
2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions.
Then that's what you must strike next.
So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's a contradiction in their assertions.
Exactly. You can do it.
Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. I'm glad we even get to do this.
I'm changing my leaning to innocent. I'd like to hear what the slipshod bookkeeper has to say for himself.
Well, let's see what he has to say. Good people, this trial has to continue so I can get to the bottom of this corruption. Not guilty, I say. The scoundrel stabbing the poor man. Let me try something. So we have, there was no one else inside the carriage. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. I wonder if that could be pit against each other. So if you stab him like that, that wouldn't make sense because he'd be on the floor. Wouldn't you, like, stab it downward, not to the side? That would make sense. Let me try this.
Objection!
These two statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel, post haste.
Oh dear me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this, claptrap? What does this contradictory even mean, I ask you?
We've heard from more than one witness. They allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3.
What? Can't you see I'm busy here?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it?
Huh, wanna test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up, just like the prim banker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear. As far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed a poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now don't move. Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. The stabbing is totally different directions.
What? Bless my stitches. What a muddle.
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth.
Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie?
I don't know that yet. But what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide by telling people lies. The scales.
I don't believe it. Wait. Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you. You cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using his magic on us all. Nah, you can't pull your racism on me. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, Dark Jinx.
Huh? Me?
What exactly is the problem? What if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of events?
What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and then the Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what to say it didn't happen like that,
Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why should I take this knife to you? Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you. They're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? I mean, that could be possible. It's true. There's an outside chance of almost anything you care to mention.
Exactly the point I've been trying to make.
Before you go any further, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sato?
I think you should have a look through the court record.
Oh yeah, hang on. I probably should. Oh yeah, single stab wound. So no, that couldn't have been possible.
You see, this evidence makes it quite clear. There isn't even an outside chance of what the juror's saying.
But I missed that. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. What? What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I saw the two witnesses say two methods of the same crime. If you saw that's at the problem, show me some proof.
Well, that's easy now. It's like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish.
What?
I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. It's proven by the autopsy report.
Take that!
This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once.
Huh? Only once?
It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these two witnesses can't have possibly seen it happen two different times. Alright, I can see defeat. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. You've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. He's won.
What are you playing at, you dandy fool?
Such a trap, sir. No one deceives me.
We had a consensus.
I said such a trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the trap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take the razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Please tell me he's a barber.
Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there's no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue.
Hooray, we did it.
I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witness to return to their places. And I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Hold on, I gotta drink my osmanthus wine first. Yeah, fuck that wine.
Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray, forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks, Is it cold in here or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a subordination examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else should we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Oh damn, the cape is off. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Well, we got these guys again, these doofuses. Witnesses. I trust you heard the summation examination we've just had to endure.
Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir.
Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes, sir. I heard it.
You, sir, on the end. The coachman. I believe it's Beepo.
Hey, yes, sir. My lord, sir.
If it transpires that in fuck, I'm doing Russian for the judge now. God damn it. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you'll be found guilty of perjury. You're advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Huh. Oh, mule teal. Oh.
Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination.
You guys are in trouble now. Various misgivings. Look at these two jackasses freaking out. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear.
Well, I for one was told I have to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fit all us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes, yes. He stabbed him, he did. Yeah, I think so, yes. He sounds like fucking Shaggy. Why'd I give him a Shaggy voice? You know, like Scoop?
Counsel, I make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cozenage.
Ah!
People, explain yourself.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster.
The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a farce? Or a fare?
It's so cold. And the last run of the day is always half empty.
You've been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, people. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor to our entire guild.
If I may, sir. I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently.
No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. We've already had the pleasure of protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely.
How are we gonna figure this one out? I should probably look at the court record before I even start.
Now we got the debtor's ledger, a catalog of people who had borrowed money from the Fed at a high rate. 20 guineas, murder weapon. The largest knife is found lodged in the victim's abdomen. It's quality. Must be valuable. There's a blood stain on the right glove. Maybe the gloves are gonna come into play. I think what this means is that the guy with the knife is probably telling the truth, because if he got stabbed in the right, yeah, that would make sense, because how could he have been stabbed on the ground? And wouldn't he be logically, I feel like he would be facing downwards? Like he would be laying on his stomach, not on his back. So I feel like the knife wouldn't be lodged that way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just thinking. Huh, I only carried 4 passengers that night. Hold it! So, there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4p fare. Is that right? Is it possible your last run of the day pay? It was so cold, it was all I could do to stop myself passing out. I'm getting chilblains just listening to you. It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Nobody's responding? Doesn't a daycare coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have another suspect. £5 for the bus. Does that mean everybody on board last night paid 5p instead of 4? Well, I paid 5p too, sir. Seems fine. Yeah, can we look at the people, just for fun? We have Beepo, 62, the driver of the omnibus on which the murder took place. He's an eyewitness to the incident. Bruce Fairplay, 34, a gentleman who works as a city banker. He witnessed the incident from his seat on the roof deck of the omnibus. And Lady First, an apprentice milliner who witnessed the incident from his seat on the roof deck of the omnibus. I guess, like, the jurors aren't on here, because that would be a lot of work, probably. And I just told you that I did. A 5 fare, 5p across the board? That's something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy, my learned friend, identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried. I've been happy if it ever existed in the first place. Hold it! This blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir. Everything seems fine here. A loathsome sight. No one should have witnessed the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the jet was stabbed. Oh, you didn't, huh? Good gracious, really? Well, that seems like pretty important testimony. We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. You know, I just thought of something. What if instead of, like, this discount Dracula voice, I give him the actual Dracula voice? What is a man? Wouldn't that be funny? I should give him that voice, because his objection kind of sounds a bit more like that. I heard the
banker jet next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Oh, jeez, Rick. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating.
You know what? I think the Morty voice for him works really good. I tell you, I saw Miss Gilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGill, is stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, was sitting next to him?
That's what I said, isn't it?
Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense, does it? Or maybe it... Because here's the thing, right? Can I double check this? There was blood on one of the seats, right? I'm thinking about this. You see there's blood on this seat, right? Do we know whether or not he was sitting over here? Was he sitting on this seat, or was he sitting next to him? Because depending on what's true, that could definitely, change the meaning of this. Yeah, we don't know whether or not he was sitting next to him, do we? Or if he was sitting across. Oh, shit. That's annoying. He was behind me before this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there?
So, should I try the actual Dracula voice?
There's been much talk of a 5th passenger, but as yet, 0 evidence.
I'll try it, see if I like it, otherwise I might go back, I don't know.
Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty.
Something of Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. Wish I could work out what it was. I don't know why my mouse was, like, loading something. You stabbed him.
Hold it!
Earlier, testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. I suppose. I might have, yes, put the cart before my horse, maybe?
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats of the roof deck. Expect it was me, sir. These guys' voices are too similar. I don't know why I did this. Then when I turn around, and yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor, and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. He was on the floor, but it said he was on the seat. That's right, yes. And the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes. So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all? I really thought I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I? Oh, hang on a minute. What's this?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed?
Some days are like that.
Well, wasn't he driving, though? I don't know. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of the omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Barat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you.
Thank you, Mr. Fairplay.
Oh, excuse me, I was getting a little hot on the collar there, my lord.
I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw.
Oh, I could do that, alright. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Okay, this is good. Do you think I forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? Oh, duh. He was wearing gloves, man.
Objection!
Blood-soaked hands? Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGill, did on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a seasonal dark color stain there. But as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right hand glove. Huh. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Huh. But, no, this can't be right.
So you're the liar here, then?
What's he doing?
That's right. You were clear right about it. You said, ugh. It was both hands.
Man, what's with everybody fucking eating their weapons, dude? Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection! It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was both hands. It was only one, but the fact remains. The two victims' bloods was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Oh, why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of the society don't prevaricate. He's claiming you have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we have some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. I don't know. Something show this man as a compelling reason in his testimony. A reason to lie? I don't know. I can't think of any evidence. Yes, if only we had some evidence like that.
So the defense has nothing? Ooh.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, did you see that? Yeah, he let out an audible sigh of relief. Does that mean there is some evidence that would show why he might lie? I think perhaps we should consult the court record again. From Mr. Fairplay's reaction, I wonder if there's some evidence we haven't properly examined yet. So there is something, I just don't know yet. My lord?
Yes, counsel?
The defense is ready to present evidence. Evidence that would clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had a reason to lie in his testimony.
I'm afraid, counsel, that before I can allow that to happen, I shall have to penalize you for that reckless about-turn.
Oh, I actually get penalized for that? I suppose that's fair play.
Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception to the court.
Let's see. What could it be? Why would he lie? Maybe the debtor's ledge? We haven't looked at this yet at all. This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry.
Oh dear. Do you really think we ought to look inside?
Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder.
I'm sure you'll not find Mr. Shulman's name inside.
Well, let's see what we find. Oh, what if his name is inside, dude?
Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it?
Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? For all that everyone in this country is well off.
Ah, goodness.
What is it?
Look at this. Do you see the name here?
Bruce Fairplay. Oh, that's why he lied. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment.
Oh, yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Oh, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date here is fast approaching. That's why he'd lie, maybe.
It's possible this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information.
Oh, okay. I think that's our evidence right there. I never looked at that. Can we also examine the knife? I should probably do that too before I forget. An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial.
And it's beautifully gilded, too.
Yeah, wonder why his name is McGilded.
Must be very valuable, I think.
Well, yeah, gilded usually means, like, sheathed with gold, you know? Like the gilded sword from Majora's Mask. Ah.
What is it?
Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything.
A W?
Yes, this is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. Haha, he said the thing. I'm sure of it.
I'm afraid I don't know at all. What I am sure of is that this is an M.
Oh, well, that idea was quickly quashed. I don't know, I feel like you're onto something with that W, though. It's like, if you look at it from, yeah, this way, it's a W. Is there anything else that I can examine? Just the M / W?
That part's the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, sorry, yeah. I just don't really like blades.
Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist.
That's not a blade, that's Cosmo's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Okay, well here we got the blood. That looks like a lot of blood.
Sure really is blood. The victim's.
An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood.
Did you think it wouldn't?
Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. Finding it a little hard to adjust.
Yes, I do understand.
Is there anything else that I can look at? No, just the blood? Unless there's something inside the sheath. I don't think so.
Take that!
I'm gonna try this. This is a list of debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims, crippled by the accused's extortion. I'm really bad at doing the Dracula voice. What is a man? The point is, among the names of those debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Oh! What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claim in your testimony you have seen something you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant?
Oh. Order! Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord. Let me ask you again, and to be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGilda's hands, both of them.
Objection! And yet only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying?
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir?
Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, Rick, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both his hands, not just one. What? What? Damn, so dramatic.
It would appear we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear?
Not properly clear. Miss Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yeah. Might finally have a chance to turn things around here. What time are we at? We're only at 58 minutes. I think we can probably keep going. What the witnesses really saw.
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I have never seen the knife, Rick. And I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually say anything myself, no. Not until I heard the scream.
Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that garage, or we all would have seen.
Well, lo and behold. In truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment of the crime that was perpetrated.
I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there is no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying that we saw the man doing it.
That's really not what testimony is about.
Well met, my son. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. In other words, there's no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Looks like we got some more pressing to do.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record.
I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands.
Fine, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might have been mistaken about what he saw, but why?
Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim scene, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers.
However, I suppose... Whatever, just press it.
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime, it's a matter of fundamental importance as well, you know?
Oh, but... For crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just... trying to save us all some time.
You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not?
Huh.
How do you hope to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty?
Well, that's not entirely... Not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea, or 10, when I backed the wrong horse in Derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this week then, that's a sure thing.
Little guinea or 10?
I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend.
Yeah, fucking loans and shit. This is why I don't buy loans.
I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness.
Is that really how that's supposed to work? Hold it! You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands? Oh, yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're gonna say. Only one of Mr. McGill's hands have any sign of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGill was sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir.
He wasn't wearing those gloves?
That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his hands bear quite clearly. It's true the dark color stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilden's gloved hands.
It wasn't blood on his hands?
This is puzzling indeed.
This must be Sniggate somehow, I'm sure of it. I didn't see anything myself, no. Not until I heard the scream. You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. I was very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I stabbed the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
I know it didn't insinuate anything, but I certainly wasn't making up stories.
Still, say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir. I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beepo, you're driving your horses. Very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? Oh, please, you didn't even see that? It was so cold that night, you see. Oh, it was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say, sir.
It would appear prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights.
People! Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone... Oh yeah, okay. All would have been seen.
Hold it!
And everything you saw in the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus? That's right. He was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Oh yes, I remember. He was shivering so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place.
Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin.
Oh, why not?
It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. That seems like important evidence.
It was locked?
That's right. And it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had the exact same experience. I tried knocking, but the gen inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down. I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in the cabin, I would have noticed.
Unequivocal, I would say.
I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? They might not have been able to. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You're riding the omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck, is that right? That's right, yes. In that case, there's a portion of the cab interior that would have been out of sight from you. What?
Black Holly, really?
Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. That at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend.
The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well. I'll uphold the prosecution's demand.
Oh, look at this. Wait a minute. These seats look weird. Where exactly in iOS are suggesting this potential extra passenger could have been situated? Maybe right here? Well, look at this, look at this. He said he's... Look, if the seats are like this, right? Then you'd be able to see right there, not over here, right? Am I wrong about that?
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel. Oh, I didn't know that. Whereas the seats in the closed cabins face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Damn, you're right.
Ah.
That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. So does that also...
Objection!
That doesn't add up, though.
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there.
That doesn't make sense, though, because if he charged 5 pence per person, then that would mean that someone didn't pay, and we don't know who that was yet.
You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. What is a man? I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount.
Paramount Pictures.
I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Can you, Mr. Arahoto?
Honestly don't know.
Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witness on the roof deck?
I guess we could say I have an idea?
I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name.
You're a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name a passenger in the other seat.
This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn my trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin who was scared from view was...
Oh, we have Strongheart.
Well, it couldn't have been...
Wait a minute. Think about it, right? If some guy... no. If they were both on top, we're gonna accept that as testimony. Beepo was the driver, so it couldn't have been him. So it's either Mason or McGilded. Can I look at my, Oh, I can't look at my stuff right now. I'm gonna assume that it was McGilded, because... Think about it. If I remember correctly, I think the blood was on the left side, which would mean that if he was on the right, then they maybe didn't actually see him. I could try that.
Take that!
Passenger in the enclosed cabin that witnesses on the roof deck failed to see. Has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Huh?
Mr. McGilded?
What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
I guess I was right.
Objection! If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hollow chalice, do I forgive the discourtesy? Lord Van Zeeks. People talk of those tiny little island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use terms ill-advisedly.
What are you trying to say?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to that fact. It is the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection! But that premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection! Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection! The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. Oh, I think I know where he's going with this. He's gonna say that someone else killed him and he had blood on his hands. And what if, like, the blood, like, splattered onto the glove he was wearing? And that's why there's a glove on his hands. Or, glove. There's blood on his gloves. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night. A third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary.
Oh, good music.
Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation's just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
We're gonna have British Dracula. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes.
The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I couldn't see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to know such things, sir.
And what particular styles of hats did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember. You call yourself a hatter?
The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin.
How can you be sure?
Because if there had been, the accused Mr. McGilden would undoubtedly have offered to dispose the fact.
What if he was, like, sleeping or something? Did he say he, like, fell asleep in the cabin or something?
Unless that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in this very cabin in which he traveled.
Oh. Yeah, I think this voice is better than the fucking discount Dracula voice. He's right. There was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. It's inconceivable that Mr. McGilden would have been unaware of it.
Order! There's clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused Mr. McGilden to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, you've already made a full statement to the police.
But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely?
Magnus McGield is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man who has been withholding information, you can be sure it'll be a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what's your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGill to testify or not? Probably should, yeah. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGill to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Oh, yes, I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGill has to say.
Get the man out here, I say. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little podcast has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
We're not gonna take a break or anything? Now maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. You're not gonna do like a fucking break or anything?
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
be sure, have me, lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you on the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal the fact from the police?
Begad now, 'tis not my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the question, please.
Truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I test you at all, or keep me mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded. The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage of the night of myself and the other man, there is another passenger.
It's true?
Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it happened. You... what? Also, yeah, is it St. Patrick's Day today? Isn't that fitting? That I'm doing an Irish accent on St. Patrick's Day?
No. Magnus McGilded, that convenience excuse won't save you now.
How truly sorry so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I surely be one to know why I said nothing when I was taken by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, a little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see.
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed he'd done it. They'd have hauled her into the courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are legally damaged, my lord.
It was a woman?
And who is this young child of whom you speak?
That I don't know.
You don't know?
Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never thought of it before or since.
Objection! We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. If the urchin is near in this courtroom as we speak, listen to the proceedings. Bang. What the fuck just happened? Smoke, there's a fire. Look, someone's trying to get away. After them. It's no use. I can't see anything around the smoke. What's going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
Well, I think now we're gonna get our recess. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos, people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee in the chamber. Bro, someone just fucking set off a smoke bomb in that courtroom? What the hell? Or I guess maybe a stun grenade, perhaps? We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time at least, the trial was suspended. Oh damn, I'm glad I didn't stop. I'm glad I waited, because now we actually got a proper recess. Alright, now is probably a good time to stop for today. Ooh, things are getting interesting. Guess there's gonna be a third part of the trial, huh? Interesting. So I kind of wonder, is there going to be an investigation part 2? Wow, hiccups. There probably is going to be a second part. Like, I imagine the trial is going to conclude and then we got to investigate. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe there's more. Alright, well. Hold on. Let me just get comfortable again. I'm going to sit up for this. Alright, guys. Well, that'll do it for the Great Ace Attorney today. That was good. I was glad we got to do some more of that. I guess next time, though, we'll have to do Trial Part 3. And, hopefully I don't stop in an awkward place. Hopefully I get to do the entire thing. Because, yeah.
Anyways, that'll be it then for today. Later today, me and Dominic are hopefully gonna play together because we were meant to play last week, but he got busy or whatever. So I'm hoping that we can actually play today. And later tonight, we're gonna play some Mario Party 7, which is gonna be one of the last Mario Party 7 sessions we have. Because after that, we're gonna play Mario Party 6 again. So keep an eye out for those things tonight. And hopefully things go well today. So make sure to like and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. So bye.